Well, hi, my name is Mark Weichel. I'm an assistant superintendent for teaching and learning here in Omaha Westside Community Schools. And we were asked to present today on where to go for professional development for leaders. And in today's session, we're going to be visiting with you about various sources and resources that you can use. And a lot of this is the different types of things that we use here at Omaha Westside Community Schools. We're a one-to-one district, and we have iPads at the K-6 level and laptops 712. And because of entering into that area, we've had to do a lot of this type of professional development that we're going to be sharing with you. And we have a team from Omaha West Side, and I will let them introduce themselves.
Thanks, Mark. My name is Matt Lee. I'm the coordinator for technology integration for Omaha West Side. We also got with us a couple other members. Paul?
Hi there. I'm Paul Lindgren. I'm the director of technology for Westside Community Schools. The other guys are back in Omaha. I'm reporting in from Flagstaff, Arizona, up by the Lowell Observatory where they discovered Pluto. So we have some weather and connection issues. That's the reason for it. I'm out in the open here.
Paul, looking great there. Looks like you got some nice scenery there in the background. So great to have you. My name is Greg Betts, and I am the director of professional learning here at Westside.
Very cool. So our presentation here is about where to go for professional development for leaders. And so we've divided this up into the free resources, places that you can go, and those that might cost a little bit of money, but they are well worth it if you have the ability to get them. The first resource that I wanted to show off here was an example of district-made resources that you can go and provide for your staff. And so one of them here that we've done at our district for Omaha West Side, and it's available to anybody, but we call it Area 66, and it's area66.westside66.org. And it's our site for technology professional development. So this is where we direct teachers to whenever they have questions or want to get exposed to new ideas, not about how to use the technology, but rather on how to use the technology in their classroom. So, for example, one of the big things that's been going around our buildings is Seesaw. Well, we have a tutorial that's made by teachers and shared to teachers about how to use Seesaw. So we asked a teacher to go ahead and create a short video, and so they made a little video clip with some other resources that people can download with examples about how they use it in their classroom. So this would be one thing that you could use to go for professional learning is district-created sites that are put together that have examples of content and curriculum with the technology. Paul, you have another one that's out there, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment briefly on the district-created one. We'll be seeing a lot of other external resources that from other places. The thing that I think is great about Area 66 is that it's really focused on specific things that apply to our district and don't necessarily, wouldn't be covered elsewhere by a bigger entity, a bigger commercial operation. So it's just a great, really pinpointed on what we need to do. So the one I'm going to talk about briefly is Coursera, and it's really a cool way. The tagline is to take free online classes from 140 top universities and educational organizations, and there's all kinds of great institutions there. University of Nebraska, University of Michigan, Stanford, and what we're talking about here is really full-length, almost for the most part, complete semester or quarter-long courses on different topics, very similar to what you would take if you were attending one of these institutions. So this is not one that you maybe want to just jump into lightly, because they're talking about their free, complete courses with the lectures that are captured, materials from the teachers as well, to the point where I think there's some of them where you can actually pay and get credit for these. Isn't that correct, guys?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So really high quality, sophisticated stuff that you would have to pay literally hundreds of thousands of dollars for, and is available to you for free as long as you have the initiative and are willing to take the time to go through the content.
Yeah, Paul, I did have one more that I wanted to share here. Similar to Coursera, a lot of universities are putting their content out on iTunes U, which is another platform that you can use for your own professional learning, but you can also create your own courses and use it as kind of a learning management system in a way for your school. Just to show a little bit here is there's a huge, vast library of courses that you can sign up for to learn from. Stanford has a lot of programming courses on there. There's also a lot of different learning lessons on there. For example, if I go into this course here on research in the classroom, Research 101, I can see there's activities for me to do, there's assignments to complete, and there's discussion boards that can happen where people can talk back and forth about it. So there's just a huge wealth of information out there. And so let me show you here. If we look at the top charts, there are just a ton of classes, everything from taking Spanish to psychology to economics to personal finance, to education. I mean, if you can think it, there's probably a university or an educational institution out there that has put together a course and made it available on iTunes U for you, your staff, and your students to access. Now, I do think it would be appropriate to mention that as of this recording, iTunes U only, or the courses feature of iTunes U only works on the iPad. You can access some of the courses and videos on a Mac, but this would be an example of one where you're kind of tied into the Apple ecosystem. And so if you're Chrome or Windows shop, this might not be the best. But if you do have access to Apple products, this is a really good one to use.
Well, and another one, I think that a lot of people that are here at this session today, they're going to be familiar with YouTube. The beautiful thing with YouTube anymore is you can solve any problem with YouTube. If you want to learn how to ride a bike more efficiently, if you want to look at your own running mechanics, or if you want to learn how to play the guitar, the day and age of having to go find somebody that can go help you and walk you through it, they're just done. I mean, anybody with access to Wi-Fi and has a computer really can learn about anything that they want. One great example that I like to share is I grew up playing video games, but as an adult we don't have time to do that as much as we maybe did back when we were little. And I've had a son. Well, geez, I still have a son, but he's older now. But when he was little, he wanted to play Batman Lego, and I said, okay, I'm going to just kind of learn the game with you, so I can help you through the parts. If you get stuck. And we hit a place in the game where we had exhausted everything on the screen. There was nothing that I'm at a loss. I don't know how to help solve it for you. So we went into the video game. I think you can see it on the screen here. And I just YouTubed it. How do you get past this particular stage? And you could just watch somebody else solve it. You found the key that we weren't able to find. Oh, there it was. I didn't have any idea it would be underneath that particular area, so that we could then go in and solve it. But again, YouTube is just that really great resource that I don't know if everyone always thinks of it, but it's just a really friendly one that you can use really easily.
And I would throw in there too, a lot of districts, including our own, have YouTube channels where, Mark referenced going to kind of the Batman game and figuring out and learning from it. The same thing happens in other fields. So, running mechanics, you mentioned all of those things. You also have things like, curated playlists that are put together for personalized learning or eliciting student responses. And so this happens to be our district's page, but there's a lot of other people out there that have similar pages that have videos and resources posted for you to go in and take a look at.
And Matt, it's really nice to have some of these playlists, and if you're a classroom teacher or a leader, you can build your own lists, and it helps really narrow the focus for what you're wanting students or adults to go learn about, and it keeps it all in one place. And then again, you have access to it sometimes at your own time, your own pace, or you can watch at your own pace, and sometimes at your own place. And so I would say, YouTube is a very powerful resource that really allows you to leverage technology in any school district.
We just want to pause for a minute and allow you to do some processing. We've shared with you several different free resources here that are available for you for professional learning. Many of these kind of geared toward personalized learning for yourself. Our own district site, Area 66, Coursera, primarily universities, iTunes U, also universities, and kind of a mixture of your own stuff, and then YouTube. And what we'd like to do is just have you take a minute. We're going to ask you to pause the video in a second here, and just take a few minutes to reflect about which of these resources could you focus on, and what could it individually do for you as far as some area that you would like to learn more about professionally or personally, or learn how to do something new. So go ahead and pause your video and take a few minutes to talk about that.
Thank you for your reflections. The next part that we wanted to discuss here was some tools that are really, really rich if you want to go out and get access to a huge amount of information, but they might cost a little bit of money. And so we're going to talk about two here, the first of which is one of my personal favorites, and that's lynda.com. There are parts of lynda.com that are free, but to get access to the full resources, it does cost a little bit of money, but in my opinion, if you can afford it, it is well worth it. So one of the things that I really like about lynda.com is just the wide breadth of content that's available for you. You can consolidate these into playlists that you can share out with others. For example here, we got a playlist assembled of some recommended trainings that we thought our staff would be interested in. And if I take a look, these are everything from basics on how to use Microsoft Office and Google and Pages, all the way to some pretty deep things like having difficult conversations, how to give a presentation, or one that we found was really popular with our staff was an overview of the neuroscience of learning. So if you want to talk about just a wide variety of resources, learning everything from how to make a word processing document to learning how the brain functions with neuroscience, lynda.com has it for you. And so just a lot of different resources all right there. It's lynda.com, and it'll be available for you.
One other similar service is Atomic Learning, and probably 8, 9, 10 years ago, before lynda.com was really on the scene as a big player in this online learning environment, we actually had Atomic Learning. When we do have lynda.com for everybody in our campus, but Atomic Learning is kind of another competitor. The things that are similar, they do have courses on a wide range of topics. It does cost money to have Atomic Learning. Their focus is a little bit more specifically upon education and upon schools, whereas lynda.com is actually owned by LinkedIn, and I think could ultimately be owned by Microsoft. They have maybe a little more of a business, professional take to them, whereas Atomic Learning is really focused upon education, educators, teaching, and learning. So it is another option. I know districts use Atomic Learning and are big fans of it. One thing that's really different that I know from Atomic Learning is that they have the capability for you as a district to create your own section on your Atomic Learning site where your own district can put up content onto Atomic Learning. I'm not quite sure. I would need to be convinced that Atomic Learning is really keeping up with the times quite as well as lynda.com is. Lynda.com is kind of an industry leader now. It's another option. It might be a little less expensive than lynda.com. Again, focused on education, and it has a capability that lynda.com doesn't have to be able to put your own content up.
Very cool, very cool. So we got a couple of kind of the big players in the industry as far as paid online content goes, lynda.com and Atomic Learning there.
All right, well, I hope that gives everyone a few ideas about where you could go for your own professional development, for learning about digital resources. Some of those are paid, some of those are free, some of them are a little bit of a combination of the two. What we'd like to have you do, just to summarize this session, is to think of a Twitter type of reflection here, and in 140 characters or less, just kind of give your overview, your reactions to this session, what you might use right away when you go back to school here in the fall. If you want to do it just on a little scratch paper off to the side, you can certainly do that. Or if you even want to go onto your Twitter account and post your summary there as well, that would be just fine.